even like in business, it's so easy to stay focused on like what's next, what's next, what's next. What can I
Yeah.
accomplish? How many homes can I sell? How many clients am I working with? And it's difficult to kind of take a deep breath and take a look back and see where you started and take a look and see where you're at. And then really
Yes.
say, have I been successful? Hell yeah, you've been successful. If you were ever to ask me, how do you define success? I would say relationships, how you can, kind of foretell where the opportunities are coming, and then the honest conversation that you have to have with yourself and say, can I do it? Do I want to do it? And am I going to do it? And if
Right.
all three are yes, then, the sky's the limit. This is your business. This is your brand. You are the face of your business. So you have to be in front of the camera and constantly be top of mind to the people that you want to serve.
Brace yourself for a wild ride into the unexpected. This ain't your typical success show. I'm here talking to real folks who've been through it all, skipping the fancy business talk for authentic stories. We're diving into childhood dreams, teenage escapades, and everything in between. No scripts, just the stories that truly mold success. Each episode takes you on a journey through those breakthrough moments that paved their way. No fluff, just genuine stories. So whether you're chasing dreams or just love a good story, buckle up for wisdom, laughs, and the unexpected. This is the Breakthrough Podcast, where success is a journey, not just some fancy destination. Don't miss out. Hit the subscribe button now and join our Breakthrough crew. I got some incredible stories to share, and you won't want to miss a single one. Success in real estate and marketing isn't just about knowing the game, it's about staying ahead of it. And no one does that better than today's guest, Stephanie Bernal. She's built and scaled and mastered the art of brand building in a way that turns heads. And get this, we've been connected for 19 years. We're talking about her journey from working at Apple and eBay to becoming a top performing agent in the Placer County area. How she's building her brand through community events and her strategy for attracting Bay Area buyers to her market. Plus, we get into some fun, full circle moments, real talk about life challenges, and yeah, a little house music nostalgia. This episode is packed with insights, laughs, and stories you don't want to miss. Let's dive in. Hi there.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. So
I'm excited
this should,
to finally be on your podcast.
yeah, this is kind of going to be a interesting full circle moment, would you say?
Yes, I think so. And,
Yeah,
I love that. And I love it a lot.
it's kind of interesting, right?
Yeah.
It totally is, right? So, fun fact, you're the first person on the podcast that actually knows me from back in the days.
Before your business. Yeah.
Exactly.
Before your
So,
real.
we got some long history, which is kind of cool, but I
Yeah.
think we could start off with, you know, how
Our
you ended
love.
up on the podcast.
Yeah. Well, also, we have to start with our love of house music.
Okay. Yeah, we can go there. Well, it's funny that you bring that up.
Yeah.
You started commenting on certain things, like, because I can't hold back from posting house music in stories. And then you were like, oh, yeah, I love that track. I'm like, oh, shit, this girl likes house music. Oh, that's cool. I'm like, that's odd because there's only a few people that really comment on music, and it's always people from the past, very few. And I don't know about you, but like when I first started posting stories, I was like hesitant to use house music and techno as like the background music. You know what I mean? And I was like, I started like slowly testing it. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, no, man, this is what I like.
It's you. It's part of you.
Yeah. And then I had to finally, I don't know, I had to lean into it, I would say.
Get over it. Yeah.
Get over it.
Over yourself.
Yeah, it was just interesting. So interesting that the fact that you start comment on it. And like I said, well, you got married, right? And then, so your name changed. And then your photo, I really didn't see your face. So I really didn't know who you really were for that
Well,
long.
I have to go change my photo now.
Maybe you could do one a little closer
Yeah.
so we can see your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got it all going on. But I just didn't, honestly, I couldn't recognize you.
Also, it's been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah.
Do you know how long it's been?
No. Oh my God. Do we want to say?
Yeah, we should. We
Okay,
should.
see.
it's probably been 19 years.
I knew it. I was going to say 20, but
Yeah. Well, and the only reason I can gauge that is just I know how long I've been clean.
yes. Yeah. And
That
I think
that's
I,
per-
and that's really where our story began,
yeah,
right?
I don't know. We got a lot we could talk about here. I don't know where we're going to go with this.
Well, no, I'm just saying because there's been so much time since we last saw each other, and 20 years of sobriety is a big thing, right? It's no small
Yes.
feat. It's a testament to your dedication to yourself, dedication to the life that you want to live, which you are who you're supposed to be, right?
I agree with
So
that. I agree with
yeah,
that. And I think that's interesting that you bring that up because I think you're the only one. There's a lot of people that follow me that just know me as an agent and an investor, like, or, this, my hobbies, my family.
yeah.
Nobody knows the backstory, period, because I haven't told it.
Right. Well, I think maybe you should use this as a bit of a launching pad to kind of, give props to
Mm-hmm.
yourself and also kind of take a look back because it's so easy to stay focused. Even like in business, it's so easy to stay focused on like what's next, what's next, what's next. What can I
Yeah.
accomplish? How many homes can I sell? How many clients am I working with? And it's difficult to kind of take a deep breath and take a look back and see where you started and take a look and see where you're at. And then really
Yes.
say, have I been successful? Hell yeah, you've been successful.
Yeah, it's been kind of a wild ride, and I'm eager to hear about yours as well because I think we could both agree that we probably didn't expect to become agents and being in
No.
real estate. I don't think that that would be on our list 19 years ago. I do not think that that would have been the thing that we'd be talking about.
Yes. So since we're talking a little bit about your past, so Stephen is being very, very nonchalant about his past in the sense that he was a pretty freaking awesome DJ. He got to travel all over playing and doing the work that he loved so much. And he brought so much joy and so much just soul to people in the community. And he was beloved by many. He was the life of the party. And he had a lot of friends, party friends,
Party friends.
which could be good or bad, but we had a hell of a time. And
Well, we did.
regardless of the stupidity that we did when we were young, it was the best freaking time, Stephen.
It was. It was so
Yeah,
great. It was
yeah,
great until it wasn't. But then even looking back, it's right. It was great until it wasn't. But
right.
I still look back. And by the way, I think that the whole DJ part is coming full circle
Yeah.
as well. And it's funny because it's like I'm almost gearing it towards all my old friends. Like
Yeah.
whoever used to come to the clubs, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to build the room. The room's going to have the booth this way. I'm going to have a mic. I'm going to be able to talk to them and
Your
play
niece.
records. Like I don't need to travel the world and DJ, but I can do exactly what I need to do by a
Yeah.
live stream. So,
Yeah, absolutely, which is great. And I can't wait to hear it.
yeah. So, where are we going with this one? We got a lot we
Um,
could talk about.
yeah, we
We got
do.
a lot.
We do.
We got a lot. So, yeah, I know the last time I saw you was like 19 years ago. And then,
Yes.
I got married, I had my daughter.
Mhm.
You went your own way. I don't know after that. I
Yeah.
really don't know what's been going on for 19 years. So, what has
Yeah.
been going on? Let's
Yes.
talk.
So we both know that we never would have thought that we would be agents because, the lifestyle that we lived 19 years ago was different. And so for the last 19 years, at least for the last maybe 15 years, I was in corporate. So I think when I met you, I was still working at Apple. So I worked at Apple for a very, very long time, almost 10 years. And then I left Apple to go work at eBay. So I've been in marketing literally from the time I got out of college. But before I got out of college, I actually went to school for broadcast journalism, which I don't think you knew. And then I went to Cal State Northridge. And then when I was living in LA, I actually was doing some freelancing and I met some people. And I think one of the wonderful things about life is that you know that you'll be successful based on the opportunities when they present themselves to you. And I think because I have had wonderful relationships with people, whether they're coworkers, friends, people that I've been in relationships with, whether it's their family, relationships have always been really important to me. And those have really always fostered opportunity. And so you really have to be in tune with yourself and your goals and your needs and your wants and what you want to do with your life so that when an opportunity presents itself for you, you take the bull by the horns and you're like, I'm going to do it. So that's
Mhm.
literally, if you were ever to ask me, how do you define success? I would say relationships, how you can, kind of foretell where the opportunities are coming, and then the honest conversation that you have to have with yourself and say, can I do it? Do I want to do it? And am I going to do it? And if
Right.
all three are yes, then, the sky's the limit. And
Yeah.
so I think it's a life lesson for the younger me. Although, I had the party girl in me probably because my mom was like so strict. I was always like, I'm type A. I always single, like not single, but I was only child. So super competitive, right? With my cousins. Like I just always
Hmm.
had this desire for more. And sometimes that means that you're not satisfied, right? Like how much is more, but there are certain elements that along the years, it changes your goals, desires, what you think success is,
Hmm.
what you think you want changes. And so for me, I think being in real estate actually makes sense now because I was working at one of the top companies, if not still the number one company in the globe at Apple. And I was there when Apple was put on the map. So I was there before the iPhone launch, was
I
working
had
to
no
launch.
idea about this.
I
I had no
know.
idea. No, and you're saying something about Apple. I'm like, wait, what? She worked at Apple? I don't remember that. That's so crazy.
Yeah. Well, because we
Yeah.
only saw each other at night, like in the sense of like the club,
Yeah.
right? We were either at your house or like going to the city. So, and our friend Erica, like hanging out with, just the crew. But, like we live lives outside of that. And I think I've always had somewhat of a good head on my shoulder in terms of knowing like what I wanted to do in life.
Hmm.
And when it was time to move on to something else. I'm a Christian and I believe in God. And, like I feel like He puts people in your life that are going to help you where you need help, open doors for you, speak on your behalf to get your name in. And so I think that's kind of how I've come to where I am. All of the successes and failures have gotten me to where I am today. And I think it makes me a very great agent.
Right. And it's beautiful because it's like you're evolving
Yeah.
constantly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful thing. And well, because not everybody does.
Yes, that's true. That's
You know what I
true.
mean?
There's a lot of potential that is lost, and there's a lot of potential that people don't even see in themselves. And that's a difficult thing to realize when we're, I guess, middle aged now. Although I don't look middle aged, I don't get Botox.
Okay. Okay. Well, I know you're younger than me, so I think you're fine.
So yeah. So, came full circle and now I'm living in Placer County. I live in Roseville in this wonderful community called Morgan Creek. And I've really have used, looked at the opportunities afforded to me in this community because I had to start my business all over again. I had to leave the Bay Area, left corporate, and actually I didn't start doing full-time real estate. So I've had my license since 2018 and I was doing part-time real estate, because it was just like helping friends, helping friends, family, or people that I've worked with. And then when we moved here, I actually was still working at eBay. So I was able to secure my position to work remote since that was the thing to do from 2020 to like
Hmm.
2022, 2023. And then there was some layoffs and my boss and I both got let go. And it was actually a
Oh.
blessing in disguise because it lit a fire underneath me. I had been telling my husband since we moved here, I was like, we moved to a new city. There's so much new development. Like the cost of living is so much more affordable than it is in the Bay Area. You get more property, land for your buck here. And it's a great opportunity for me to kind of just do real estate full time. And so from my lips to God's ears, I ended up getting laid off, which was a blessing, right?
Yes.
Nice package. It was able to kind of hold us through. And in my first year here, I made masters. I sold almost about 5.5 million in real estate. I joined a team because obviously I was like, I need to get a
Smart.
lay of the hand. And then I realized like, I don't need a team. I can do this on my own. I have more marketing experience than most agents and most seasoned agents. I have a journalism background, which affords me the opportunity to be more articulate and be like, I'm the reporter for, whatever this community we're touring, which I was a little bit rusty, but thanks to my husband, who is a media guy, he started doing all my videos, and I really took the opportunity of getting onto social media and combining all of those things into one. And so far, when I left that team, I ended up becoming a solo agent for EXP with a group called Powerhouse. And these women have completely changed the way that I look at real estate in the sense of how you own your business. Like I am the CEO of my business. I don't just sell real estate. I am here. I'm a service provider. I provide luxury services at any price point. It doesn't matter if I'm selling a $300,000 home or a $3 million home. You are going to get luxury from start to finish. And I'm going to represent you to the best of my abilities, which I hold myself really at a high bar because I've worked at a really high bar place.
Yeah, that's a good starting point.
He demands absolute perfection. And while that unfortunately sometimes is not sustainable, but I feel that I learned what the quality of service that I need to provide to my clients in any business, right? Whether if I went to go become a VC or if I went to go and start my own brokerage, like that opportunity that I had for working for Apple, right before the pinnacle of who they became, really ingrained in me how to be an excellent customer service person.
Perfect background. I know a lot of agents that have a tech background and they exceed very well. They just have a lot of different, and one of the biggest things is putting out a product that's perfect, as perfect as it can be. It's a good way to translate into any other kind of skill set. So you have the two of the most perfect skill sets, marketing and journalism. Like that's it right there. And to jump on social media, that's something that's going to separate you from a lot of people because a lot of people just won't get on for whatever reason it is. But you probably understand too that you're here to serve your community and you do yourself a disservice not doing it.
Right. Exactly. That's one of the things, that I learned in Powerhouse is, this is your business. This is your brand. You are the face of your business. So you have to be in front of the camera and constantly be top of mind to the people that you want to serve, regardless of your demographic or whatever. Obviously, you have to pick out who your target audience is, and you have to identify, are you a relocation specialist? For me, I actually had so many different ways to go, but I found some pillars that I think are working for me. And it's taken me, since 2023, it's taken me 2 years to figure that out. And now I'm seeing the fruits of my labor, right?
Perfect.
So for me, I still have contacts in the Bay Area. So I do have referring agents that send me clients here. I do live in West Roseville, which is like booming in West Roseville. There's a lot of new builds and now Lincoln. I actually just went to go tour these beautiful luxury homes, over $1 million in Birch Ranch. And that is its own.
Is that a development?
It is. It's Toll Brothers.
Yeah. Oh, it is? Okay.
Well, yeah. Beautiful Toll Brothers. Sorry. Bickford Ranch, sorry, Birch Ranch, it's another one. Bickford Ranch, which is its own zip code. It's going to be zoned for like Loomis school districts, which is not the same for the Lincoln area. So you have people that are moving from the Bay Area that are able to purchase beautiful luxury homes under 2 million, and the models are just incredible. So there's a lot of things, right? I want to stay in the luxury market, but listen, I also speak Spanish. So I have like all these things, right? So like I said, like you have to look at yourself and be like, what are the qualities that are going to benefit my business and my clients, right? And then hone in on those qualities and just focus on that. I think sometimes real estate agents make it more complicated than it needs to be.
Right.
And it's like KISS, you used to hear at school, keep it simple, stupid.
Right.
Keep it simple and like repetition, like what you're good at, repeat it, right? Repeat it, repetition, consistency. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm in Placer County now. I have a wide range of clients, but I solely focus right now. I'm solely focusing on building my name here in my community, which is Morgan Creek. Their average median price is about $1,080,000, which is great because, in the Bay Area, the homes are a little bit below median price, which means gap in how much I need to net in order to make up the salary that I lost for my tech company. I have to increase my purchasing price. Yeah. And sales volume, right?
So your husband, what does he do is he full-time within your business?
He's actually currently studying to be an agent. And the reason why is because he actually is a media guy. He's actually videoing me right now for social media. He is.
Where is he? Bring him on. Let's see him.
I don't know. He's going to be like, I don't have a hat on.
What do you mean? I have a hat on, buddy. Come on.
Come over here, honey. He's just taking some content.
That's good. Hey, how's it going? Oh, you took the hat off. It's okay.
No, yeah. He didn't have it on.
So what are you going to do within the business? What's he going to do?
So he's going to be he's going to be more on the operations side. So I'm anticipating, and the goal is to increase volume in sales. And so instead of, running around like a chicken with my head cut off, when I need him to put lock boxes, signs, going to pick up my flyers or whatever, he's going to do that. And he's going to be hosting open houses as well. So cool. In the event so right now I currently have I'm working with 4 clients. So, one of them is a commercial property. He drove me to Ukiah, and we went and we got everything in Ukiah ready to kind of get ready to go to market. So for your investors, if they're looking for, a Ukiah property, have something for them. It's a great property. And then he's going to be working with me. I mean, he already does it now,
right.
Like he gets to work from home as well. So his hours are flexible. And I think what's really amazing is that my son is now 5, and I've been taking him to home tours. Like every video that he is in gets a lot of views. And so I love that I can run a business with my family. My husband being the media head of the part of my business and taking care of operations, that I can focus on the customer client care. I also have like a client services team that really works on every aspect of the process. They are hand-holding the clients. That doesn't mean that I don't call and check in. It's not like they're going to take care of everything, but they're my project managers, right? Because at the end of the day, as agents, we wear so many hats. And once your volume starts increasing, something's going to hit the back burner. And I started realizing that, like, the more I got busy, the less I was doing social media, and I can't not do social media, right? Like that's a key level of my business, especially if I'm going to be attracting people from the Bay Area to like places like Toll Brothers in Bickford Ranch, right? Or if I want to become the #1 agent in my community, I need to have social media presence when I throw events in the community, because that's how I've come to really focus on building myself as the community agent in Morgan Creek. When I moved here, the HOA did not have any events. And then I came from a community where they had events all the time. They had awesome events. We had all of the key holidays, Easter egg hunt. We had like 4th of July parade for the kids. We had Halloween. We had Christmas with Santa, and so it was like, what? This is like over $575 million homes. Like, how can you not have something? And selfishly, we were new and I never saw any people, like any kids, probably because it's hot. We moved in right when the spring started, and it was the hottest spring when we moved.
What made you move out there in the first place? Like, how did you come up with where you moved to?
So we had lived in the Bay Area forever, right? And my in-laws, one day, we were all going up to Tahoe, and I had them stop at this place called Buttercup Cafe. And so my in-laws, surprisingly, they had never
Wait,
been there.
where's that? Where's that at, Steph?
Okay, so right before, I think it's Placer. So Placerville. Right before you actually, it's like the pit stop that you get gas and food before you hit just like miles of like going into Tahoe. It's literally right off. What highway is that, honey? I'm not 50. Sorry, I'm not good with directions. That's why it drives me everywhere. Um, but anyway, so it's right off of Highway 50. They ended up going there. They loved it. On their way back, they were like, oh, because they had been, my father-in-law had retired. He was a pastor. He was retiring from his church. They lived in Silver Creek and they had been living there forever. They wanted to move. So they made their way over here and they were checking it out and they fell in love with Placer County. And so, long story short, they were the ones that moved here first. But my sister, in conjunction with them, was moving to Roseville. And so I was like, oh, this is interesting. My sister's moving to Roseville, my in-laws. And we were like, we had just moved into Gilroy over at Eagle Ridge. And we loved it there, but during COVID, it was just a lot. And we had just had a baby and like we weren't able to get out and whatever. And so we were like, okay, let's start fresh somewhere new. And literally everybody moved over here. My best friend moved to Lincoln. My two sisters moved to Roseville. My sister-in-law is in El Dorado Hills and my in-laws are in Loomis. And now my parents are 6 minutes away from where we are in West Roseville.
Wow. And I know a lot of people that moved that way, in the last few years, especially Lincoln. Lincoln.
Life. Yeah, Lincoln is booming. Roseville and Lincoln are booming. It still has the small hometown feel, which I love that because it reminds me of Campbell, like how Campbell used to be.
Or like, days.
Yeah. And it's actually, Roseville has been named one of the top 5 cities in California to raise a family. It's really family oriented. The schools are great. There's a lot of growth. They do need a couple more hospitals. I'm sure those are in the planning.
Is that something that's, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So there's Kaiser and then there's Sutter, but the city is exploding. Like I have so many tours of, even in my area, I live in like the Dry Creek area. It used to be beautiful, lush, landscape. And now they're building like acre lots right on the corner of the outside of my community. So I love it here. It still has the hometown feel, which is what I love for my son. And, living in this community and through the events that I throw in the community, I have met 4 or 5 wonderful families. Half of them are from the Bay Area, which is like, oh my gosh. But it's great because our kids are friends and they grow up together and we go to each other's birthday parties and we have like the families get together on the court. The kids are playing. We have a little bit of wine and, it just feels so nice to have neighbors who are friends and friends of my son that he will be friends for.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What did you feel when you first moved there? Like, did you feel right at home when you got in there, or did you go, oh, I miss this, or I wish this was this way? Like, how did you integrate into the community?
So I loved it because, San Jose, I love San Jose, but it was just getting a little bit too many homeless people and like a lot of graffiti and like the highways just look not pleasant. And so Placer County, you may have to pay Melrose, you may have to pay extra, but you know what? Like I drive around the city and maybe once a month I see graffiti. The city is really well run by common sense people. They really put the community and
common sense.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Wish we could get that everywhere.
Right. I know. let's not get into that topic. But
Let's not go there. Sorry.
I think
That's going to quickly switch over to me for about 20 minutes. That's what my wife would say.
oh my gosh, yeah. And it's really great because the community or the city council really focuses on parks, recreations. Like there's over 82 parks and like trails here. Like
It's
one of our
wild.
parks was nominated and I think we won like this award. I actually did a reel about this 2 years ago. We won an award and we were nationally recognized because of like our beautiful parks. And so I love that. You might want to get your kids out in the summer by like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock before it becomes triple digits.
It's pretty
But
hot there, right?
it does get hot. But I'm from Nicaragua in Central America and like I love heat.
Yeah.
My poor husband, not so much.
He's like, I'll stand the AC.
I know. So it's been so great. The one thing that I do miss about the Bay Area is the food. The food is unmatched. We do have some amazing food here. And so those are some of my key pillars, right? Selling the area, going and exploring new food and wine. There's some beautiful, beautiful wineries in Lincoln and in Loomis. So I believe it's called Twin Rocks. That one's beautiful. Wise Winery. I think they have a Bib Michelin award. Literally, it
Cool.
looks like Tuscany when you pull in. I've been to Tuscany, I've been to Florence, and I had like this deja vu of when we were in Tuscany, and it's just so peaceful. I don't know. I think I'm in my I want peace era, and I want to help fulfill other people's desire to find peace in their homes, in their community, or whatever. So, yeah, it's been great. I love
I
it
got a
here.
question for you. How
Mhm.
many people reach out to you that are from the Bay Area that want to move there? And like, what do they talk to you about?
So, number one is affordability. I think people get shocked. So, I'll use my sister as an example, right? So, my sister, she and her husband had one child living in the Bay Area, paying close to almost like this was 3 years ago. She moved here, I think, a year before I did. And she was like, we can never afford a house here. Like, why should I just stay paying rent for somebody else? And at the time, I think it was a smart move for her because she knew she wanted to go to nursing school. Again, she picked a career where she would be able to afford a home, even if she stayed over there. But if she can get something good here while she was going to school, and her husband, who is in the trades and he's in a union, makes really good money. She was very smart about it. She's like, I can turn this around. And, with me talking to her, like, say, if you want to get into a home that you can afford with just the income that your husband is bringing in, if he works, overtime, this is what you guys can afford. In 5 or 8 years or 10 years, when you are making nursing salary, you can turn around, rent your property, put it in a trust,
Boom.
leave it for the kids, and then take equity, use that to go buy another home, right? It may be your dream home. It may be, your second home to fund your dream home, because your first home will fund your dream home, right? So anyway, so thankfully she took my advice, and I mean, and she's pretty smart. She was asking the right questions, so I didn't really need to push her too much, but I did give her some insight, and that's what she's doing. She's almost done with nursing school this year. She already probably has a job offer, and she did it while she was pregnant. So
That's so good.
kudos to her. So
Yeah.
yeah, people move here because of affordability. They move here because of schools, and they move here because of the quality of life for families.
So I remember back in the days, when the market was doing its thing and people would start to move away to, like, let's say Tracy. This is
Right?
not Tracy.
Crazy.
This is not Tracy. Like, where Tracy, I'm like, well, why would you want to move out just so you can buy a house to live in nowhere? But where you're at, it's a whole different ball game. Like Roseville
Yes.
and those things, these are like little mini communities with like a
Yes.
downtown, right? Like it's a whole different vibe.
It is. And also, we're in the corridor, right? We're in the corridor of going to, so where I'm at, Roseville is like in the middle of going up to Lake Tahoe. I can get to Lake Tahoe in like an hour and 25 minutes. I can go
That's
to
perfect.
Napa and get there in an hour and 32 minutes. If I want Michelin star dining, Sacramento is 25 minutes for where I'm at, right? So we're like in this perfect spot of like, if you want to go to Tahoe, if you want to go to Sacramento, if you want to go to Napa, it's literally a hop, skip, and a jump.
How is Sacramento now, as far as like downtown?
You know what? Not for the better.
Really?
I mean, then that's the thing. That's one of the things that it's interesting to me coming here because I'm like, this is the state capital. There's homeless people everywhere, but I feel like a lot of our tax money is going to the capital. Like, let's try and make it look great. Don't get me wrong. There are beautiful, beautiful homes, like in the Fab 40s, beautiful homes, multi-million dollar homes. There are other
What's the
areas.
Fab 40? What's that?
Oh, gosh. So the Fab 40 is basically 40th Street all the way up to, I think, like 48th, 49th. And every year they all do like this huge Christmas lights thing. And thousands of people pour in to the poor neighborhood. But
Take it over.
yes, they take it over. It's beautiful. You can go by horse and carriage. You can like go in your car. You can get out and walk. And it's just spectacular for the kids. We actually took my son last year, I don't think the year before. We took him and we walked the whole Fab 40. And it's a beautiful area. They have beautiful, beautiful homes. Some are historic homes, Victorian, some are, updated modern. But they have beautiful homes there. Then you have other areas of Sacramento that are beautiful too. They're not just downtown. Like obviously Midtown is hip and like there's lofts and it's close to Golden One Arena. But then you have like Land Park, which is a little bit out and it's not as expensive as living in Midtown for obvious reasons. You get accessibility to downtown and food and wine and festivals and whatever. And that's when you're like single and working really hard or you're engaged. And then, when you change your mind and you're like, let's have kids, then you move
That's where you
out.
go.
Yeah, you have West Sac, and then you have the Mill, which is like a lot of condos, for starter homes, good investment for starter homes, or if you want an investment property. So yeah,
Where are you
there's still,
from? How far are you from Jackson?
I don't know.
Yeah,
There's,
it's got to be somewhere. I know it's like an hour away for 30 minutes away from Tahoe.
I know where Yuba is, Yuba in Sutter County.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
A lot of
so
mount-
Yuba,
That's good.
yeah, so Yuba City is up and coming too. I think the more people move to Lincoln, the prices, kind of go up. There's some really beautiful new builds that are going up, and then people are starting moving to Yuba. You can get a beautiful, like 4-bedroom, 2-bath home for under 500,000.
That's crazy.
I know, corner lot.
Crazy.
Because
Crazy.
I worked with a client of mine that was getting a divorce and he had a beautiful home in Loomis and he moved to Yuba. And so I found him this house. I think we paid $405 for it.
Wow.
And it was nice. Like he like remodeled.
So you got the real estate going on.
Mm-hmm.
You're firing on all cylinders with content and you got your husband coming in the mix.
Yes.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What are the things you have in your brain that are like on the horizon?
My goal is to mentor other agents. So I don't know if I want to have my own brokerage because I really love Powerhouse with an EXP, but I really would love to help other agents become solo agents and help them run their own business. I think as I'm testing my own profession and my own career and my own business, I'm pretty sure that I can, even now have the fundamentals to help people that are either ready to get started. I think it's a little bit difficult when you're ready to get started. Unless you are really good at social media, I would say maybe join a team for a year just to get some referrals under your belt and then use those as a stepping stone to build your business, because then you can build your business on referral-based social media. I think what I want to focus on is really like what I'm doing, right? Social media, become the community agent, which is a digital product that I'm working on to help other agents do right now. It's not finished yet, but I'm actually testing it out with some of the girls within our group. So I meet with them one, and I basically give them the playbook that has landed me to referrals within my community. I actually just sold my first home from one of the events that I hosted. So using the community agent, which is what I'm going to
Wait,
call.
what event? What event was this? Did you do something with cookies?
Well, coming up. So I've been throwing, so going back to the fact when I told you that the HOA doesn't throw any events in the community. So I started throwing events in the community. I started doing Easter egg hunts, 4th of July parades around our community. My backyard is like a man-made lake. So there's like the circle called Waterstone, which is where I live. And we had neighbors come out with the kids with all the red, white, and blue. They got to decorate their bikes, their scooters, their golf carts.
That's so cool.
It was so cute and it was so much fun. And then we did like movie night. So my husband, he's a media guy. He's like, let's just get a blow up movie screen and get some vendors. So I got pizza, I got the tipsy wagon. So what I do is I always cater the drinks. So it'll have my branded logo. It'll have my sold buyer's guide, which I have here. You know, it's all the marketing that I learned at eBay. So
Really?
yeah. So I have my seller's guide, I have a buyer's guide, I have an expired listing guide, you know, and so I always brand my events, right? It might be a little bit different now because I actually joined the board. And so I was
you're right in there.
I know. So now I'm right in there. So I was elected to be on the board. And, you know, now I get to really be involved in my community. So in terms of the events, I think last year I threw 6 events. I think we're adding another one this year because there is a large population of the Indian community here. And so I think it's important to really help represent, you know, the different cultures in the community. And I have some neighbors that have been such great ambassadors for me to really understand like each of the holidays and which one would bring everybody out. So let's just say that.
That's good. Yeah, that's smart. Why do you think explain why eBay has kind of helped you out?
Yeah, so obviously doing marketing, you are doing a lot of customer insights. You're thinking about purchasing behavior. You're thinking about life cycle when someone purchases something, right? And it's the same thing in real estate, right? Who's your target audience? Are they a step-up buyer? Are they a relocation? Are they first-time home buyers? Are they downsizing, you know? And it really actually, the formula works in real estate, right? So I get to cater and strategize my business to hit every one of whatever target audience that I want to work with, right? So it's really important too, like as an agent, when you get to a certain point, you can pick and choose who you want to work with, right? Which is great. When you're starting off, maybe not so much, but you learn in the trenches of when you're new, what type of buyers or sellers you want to work with. And then you start identifying like, okay, you know, that's starting, but you get to a point where it's like, I want to make this much money because I need to buy a house and I'm going to start a family and this is what it's going to cost. And then you start moving. It's like forecasting, right? So in marketing, you're always forecasting how much budget you're going to spend on an agency or your marketing budget, right? And then you have in real estate, you're all of that. You're the CEO, you are the CFO, you are the project manager. But then you get into once you start making a little bit more money, you start offsetting some of those things that you don't want to do because you want to focus on the front facing part of it. So, you know, I have a client services person who's my project manager, and then I have a TC, right? So anytime that I get busy, I know that my team knows what I expect in terms of the quality of service that they're going to provide. And that's why I hired those people, because they're an extension of my business, right? And I know that they're going to treat my clients as if they were dealing with me. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty much.
So with Apple, so did you have a bunch of stock before that iPhone came out?
Yes. And that's how I was able to buy my first condo. So my first condo I purchased for $408 with an Obama tax credit for first-time home buyers. I think it was 427, and then with the $10,000 tax credit that we got from Obama, it was 407.
Where was it at?
I think like the universe was like, you're going to get into real estate, because it was a brand new condo built right in the middle of Fruitdale and
Santa,
No, it wasn't Camden. Babe.
Southwest?
Yes, Southwest Expressway. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then it was literally close to every freeway. We were 10 minutes from downtown, and across the street was a light rail station. So anytime we went to, I don't even know what the arena is called now, but anytime we wanted to go to any concerts, we would hop on the light rail. It would drop us right off in front of the stadium and go to concerts or go downtown. Or if we wanted to go to Campbell. When I was working at Apple had these Mercedes Sprinter vans that would come and pick me up from Campbell, downtown Campbell, and take me to Cupertino.
I know exactly where you bought that condo. I drive down Southwest 5 days a week to go to my media room. I get to Southwest and then I jump on and go down
the street from 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
So and then from there, like Willow Glen was like around the corner, and then Campbell was around the corner. And my drive when I was working at eBay, I literally took the street that exited out of my community, went straight, turned left, turned right, and I was there. So it was like 5 minutes from eBay.
What year was that? What year did you buy the condo?
2000. When did we get married? 2010.
2010. So then you had the condo and then you moved down to Eagle Ridge?
We did, yeah. So we turned around and we sold the condo for almost double. So that condo was able to fund my first $1 million home.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. Then you sold the Eagle Ridge.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. We sold and made some good money. And then we moved to Roseville, bought a bigger house, and it was less than what I sold my Eagle Ridge property for.
Were you an agent at that point when you bought in Roseville? So you represented yourself?
On both the sale and the purchase of, the sale of my Eagle Ridge.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's great. So what have you been doing for fun besides hustling real estate and content?
I know. Well, hustling real estate is fun because I love working with people, but really just serving my community. Doing a lot of, just getting to know the areas, that I am selling. I love food. I have a really good palate. I love wine. I don't drink it as much anymore, but, if you're going to have a really nice meal, I do want it to be paired with a really nice bottle of wine. And what am I doing? Honestly, I'm just like hanging out with my neighbors. Like I host wine events in my home.
That's good.
I partner with a company and they actually found me on social media too. They're like, hey, we want to bring, we'll bring the wine to you. And
you're like, please do.
I know. So basically they're like, it's really going to be a tasting environment. People can purchase the wine that they're going to be tasting and we will ship it to them. And it's been pretty successful. It's a great way to get my neighbors out, like people that come to the events that I know that are huge wine drinkers. Some of the HOA community people were here. And I think that was a way for me to finally, when I decided to run for the board, the first time I ran, I won because I'm fostering these relationships with my neighbors. And obviously at the end of the day, this is where I live. I want to know who my neighbors are. I love to entertain. I think I have really good knack for entertaining. I like everything top of line, and I like to have people feel welcome when they come to my home. And if a relationship, evolves to hey, I really love what you're doing in the community. When I'm ready to sell my home, I would love for you to represent me because I know what you can produce and that you love this community. And that's really
a relationship thing. It's definitely a relationship thing.
Yeah. My neighbors, they're like, hey, my neighbor Mona, she's a single lady. She's taking care of her mom. And she had knee surgery and she had been one of my big time supporters of the event. So, I would ask her like, "Hey, what do you need? What do you want me to bring you?" And her mom is so sweet. I've met her a few times. She knows that my husband and I have been trying to have a second baby. She knitted me the cutest baby, like literally by hand, a cute little jacket with a matching, and it's just stuff like that. Or like she'll call me and be like, Steph, I don't know, this house is too big for me. Like, should I sell it? And I'm like, no, don't sell it. Wait, and it's just really fostering trust within my neighbors so that when they do, want to sell, like they know that they have a trusted partner in me.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you still listen to house music?
Oh my God, yes. I do. Miguel Mick, Julius Pap. I think I might still have some of your CDs.
Oh, that's good. That's so good. You threw me off for that. I was like, oh, wow, this girl's cool. Like, I'm thinking, I don't even know who you are. I'm going, wait a minute.
We have to circle it back and end on how we finally reconnected.
Yeah, so I think you started following me, but I didn't know who you were, and your last name changed. So really, that threw me off, and I couldn't tell from the photo. But then you were just comment here and there about certain things, and then comment on house music, and I'm like, oh, that's odd. Like, I don't. She's an agent. She likes music, house music. I'm like, wow, she's really cool. Then once I figured out it was you, I was like, wait a minute, this is crazy.
No, but tell how you knew it was me, because it was when I commented on, oh, that's your salon stomping ground.
Yes. Yeah. So you commented on the building that I think I was going to get my eyebrows done, and you said, yeah, isn't that the old salon? I was like, uh-oh, she really does know me from the back in the days. Like, she's been there. Then I had to go doing a little bit of a deep dive on it.
Yeah, that was so funny. I was like, oh, wait, because I think you commented on one of my posts and I was so surprised. I was like, oh, thank you, Stephen. And I knew it was you. I can't remember which one it was.
But I didn't know that was you.
No, you did not.
I did not know. Yeah.
And you were so complimentary. You're like, wow, this is great content. Like, keep doing what you're doing. Like, it was just so positive. And I was like, thank you, Stephen. That's so nice.
So it's such a I don't know. Lately, the last couple years, I've had so many different like full circle moments that it's pretty intense. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's just because I'm getting older. Like I travel out to Seattle a lot to look at our developments out there. And, I've been speaking at events out there, and it's like I get through these things of craziness where back in the 90s, my first time out in Seattle, I almost died. I overdosed in a hotel room. Like, that's the real deal.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like 90, probably before I knew you.
Okay.
This is before, but I was with Michael from Faux and the old hairstylist, and we were we were partying in Seattle. We were going to a rave and partied, did a bunch of drugs, and ended up overdosing in a hotel room, and basically started to, float away, saw the light.
No.
That's the real thing. I did several times, but I was on GHB and it would bring me back into my body and I would throw up. And this went on for 10 hours.
Oh my
God. Yeah. And I thought of two things when I was going through this. One, I'm going to die in a hotel room like Kurt Cobain. And two, I'm not going to be able to wear my brand new platform creepers that I bought at a secondhand store to this next party. Those are the two things that went through my head. And then fast forwarded to now, I fly into Seattle. I meet these people on my podcast, have all these relationships with them now, built this team, and I go out there and I'm walking around in Capitol Hill and it just hits me.
Wow.
And I go, yep, this is where I was at, and it's just, and now I'm back there speaking to people, that are trying to get into real estate investing or working on their life. And I get to tell this story, this backstory. It's just crazy to me. It's just weird. It's just weird. Like we go 19 years and you're on the podcast now.
I
And
know.
the only reason you're on the podcast because you made one little comment about the salon and music that kind of jogged me to go, wait, who is this? Because I really did. You think I didn't had no clue who you were for well over a year, right? It was
That's
at
I
least a
did
year.
not know that. I honestly I did not know that. I was just like, it's been 19 years. We're older, wiser, smarter,
Oh no,
value.
I did not know. I did not know. I
Yeah.
couldn't tell it now. If you were more front and center on your photo, I would have
Hmm.
caught it in a heartbeat because I saw
Yeah.
that crazy hair everywhere, and I was like, okay, I know who you are.
So by the way, my hair is actually not straight. It's curly. That's why he's saying crazy hair. Not this hair, but yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I love that we've reconnected. It's cool,
Yeah.
and I mean, like and now I have my Roseville agent dialed in now,
Yeah.
and that's
Absolutely.
another thing that's really cool. I have friends that are in different areas, and I've
Yeah.
had them on the podcast, and I refer them business, they refer me business. It's
Yeah.
been a great little scenario. So yeah, I
Yeah.
wish you the best, but I'm gonna continue to be seeing you online, so I don't think this is the end of it. So it's cool.
Yeah, this was great. It's so wonderful to see, your full circle moment as well and leading the charge in investments. And I love the content that you produce because it's a lot of behind the scenes, which really goes and pours back into like what your goal is, what your goals are of growing portfolios for yourself and your family, which is great.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, once again, it's great to reconnect with you. So where can the audience find you if they wanted to move to Roseville?
Yeah, so my Instagram handle is homes underscore by Stephanie or homes underscore by underscore Stephanie, or you can go to homesbystephanieBernal.com.
Cool. And we'll put it in the show notes too so that, people can find you. But thank you for letting me know about that area. Now I have a better understanding. You told me everything. I'm like, okay, I know where. All right, they got a lot of trails. They got this. That's
You
cool.
do?
So
Oh my gosh, you're an avid biker and runner. You would love it here. There's
that's exactly what I was thinking when you were talking.
So, you know what I'm going to do for you? And this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to do because there's so many parks, right? I'm going to, this summer with my son or spring, so it doesn't get too hot, I'm going to do the top 10 parks and the top 10
Yes.
trails
Yes.
in Roseville. And actually,
100%.
I can drive my golf cart from my community because the golf course has a little bridge that goes over to one of the bigger parks in Roseville, and we've actually driven it. So I think you gave me some content idea to do that because it's a
Good.
huge park. It has a lot of shade and it goes through a trail that's got like this riverside where, the water kind of creaks through and the kids go in there and fish. It's really cute.
Do it. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it sounds
Awesome.
good.
Thank
All
you.
all right, Stephanie. Well, it was good talking to you,
Oh, good
and
talk.
we'll be talking soon.
Okay,
Thanks for
thanks.
jumping on.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into our show, where we hope you found inspiration and gained valuable insights. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to stay updated on our latest episodes, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and share it with others who might benefit from it. We appreciate your support and look forward to bringing you more candid conversations and breakthrough moments in the future. Until next time, take care and keep exploring new ideas and strategies.